guys, welcome inside the SCSN studios for the State Champs High School Sports Show presented by Lawrence Technological University. I'm Elizabeth Coon here with Sydney Cariel. We've got a packed show here today.
You can say that again, and believe it or not, we are already in the first week of October, which is crazy to think about. Fall is flying by, but we are going to start off the show on the gridiron with some football highlights.
Day by day, we get better and better. We can't be big. Won't be big.
I'm Jonathan Kidd. Charter School Conference Battle, Detroit Leadership Academy was taking on the Eagles from Chandler Park Academy.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Pick things up with over 7.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Leadership quarterback Darnell Hall gets around the edge and goes in for the 25-yard touchdown. Cougars led 6-0 as we head into halftime. We jump ahead to the fourth, game tied at 6. Alante White picks it off right here, and he takes it 46 yards to the house. They missed a 2-point try and takes the lead again at 12-6. Chandler Park looking to even it up with 3 minutes to go. The senior Javon Hawk with the direct snap, and he scores from 14 yards out. We were tied at 12 as we head into overtime. The Eagles get the ball first in the extra session. It's Hawk again on the 6-yard score. Chandler Park now up 18-12. Cougars respond on their possession. Hall with a soft touch, and James Bohanna goes up and gets it for the touchdown. This will go into a second overtime, knotted up at 18. Chandler Park senior quarterback Charenzo Harris sneaks it in for the short score. Eagles up 24-18. Leadership's chance to even it up. The pitch is bad, leading to a fumble. Hall with the effort to get the ball back. He throws it up for desperation, but Emmanuel Love Jr. is there to pick it off. As Chandler Park hangs on the win 24-18 in double overtime, Eagles improve to 3-4 on the season.
Last play, I was just locked in, and thought that play was over till he picked it back up, seeing the ball in the air. My body just went to it. I just picked it, and just went it for us.
Your big-time players showed up, and then the rest of the guys joined in, and now you're a team, and now it's hard for anybody to beat you. But your best players got to show up in big games, and they got to be the ones to win those big games for you. So, hey, congratulations, man. Great job. Let's go to the bus and get out here. Hey, let's go for your coach.
Get fired up. Play like we did at Deckerville. Play like we did in Atherton, right? Let's do it. Let's go.
Go! OCI 3! 1, 2, 3!
Oakland Christian had put up 50 points or more in their last 4 games, and the Lancers keep it up at Genesee. I'm Greg Molson with the highlights from the 8-player game. That's Lucas Kolb with the first touchdown of the night. Then it's Kolb again, this time from farther out. 22 takes it 33 yards to make it 16-0. Kolb rushed for 105 yards on the night. Moving to the second quarter, Kolb lets Solomon Martin take over. On the jet sweep, he finds some open space around the left side and races 50 yards for the score. They call that play Jackal, and it works so well, the Lancers run it again. And it's the same result. Martin going down the sideline for 43 yards on this one to make it 30-0 at halftime. OC comes out throwing in the second half. On their first play, Jordan Johnson connects with Gabe Lanerick for the big gain. Johnson completed 2 more passes and was looking for a 4th straight when he decides to just run it in for another Oakland Christian touchdown. The Lancers then go back to the Jackal play call, and Solomon Martin, this is actually considered a pass. Martin turning on the speed for a 65-yard score, his 3rd touchdown of the night to go along with 184 yards receiving. Lots for the Lancers to cheer about as they win it 50-0, improving to 6-1 for the season.
That wasn't our best offensive game, but we did pretty good for the most part.
I think we're growing as a team. Definitely, our offense is getting really good. Defense, I think it's almost unstoppable against some teams, so I think we're doing pretty good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we take a peek at what's happening in the Mr. Football race. And to do that, Sean Belizean here, set to talk all about it. Sydney did a great job last week, but it's great for me to be back here talking shop with you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a few weeks. It's great. You know, I was out, you were out, now we're back, so let's go.
Let's talk about the senior quarterback from Rochester Adams, Parker Pico. This is a guy who will eclipse 1,000 yards this week in both passing and rushing.
Yeah, what a phenomenal year he's having, a phenomenal career, a phenomenal athlete. In case you missed it, this is a guy that plays quarterback. He plays safety. He's a punt returner. Oh, by the way, he's an accomplished baseball player who's going to be taking his talents down to Alabama to play for the Crimson Tide baseball team. But we are talking about football, and there is a lot to talk about in regards to this guy's play on the gridiron. Highlanders, first and foremost, off to a 5-1 start. This guy, 6'2", 200 pounds, is leading the way. Lauren, as you mentioned, 985 yards passing with 12 scores, an additional 933 yards rushing with 11 scores. Surely he's going to eclipse both those marks, and this is a guy to watch the rest of the way. He's going to make a serious play for this coveted baby right here.
Committed to play baseball at Bama, but should he?
It's a great question. You know, as his success
I think they're coming now. Yeah.
There are going to be some knocks on the door. There's no doubt about that. So let's see if he can be persuaded to change his mind. He's a heck of a player for a heck of a team out there at Rochester Adams.
And if anything, the trend in college football is athletes, guys who can just do so many different things. I think he's going to get some really attractive offers. We'll see. Over 37,000 votes, Sean, have been cast so far this season in the state champs Mr. Football race, presented, of course, by our friends at Hungry Howie's. And again, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so buy a pie and support a great cause. So Hungry Howie's every year does a fantastic job in the money that they donate to help those who are suffering and hopefully find a cure someday for breast cancer. But we have got a doozy of a competition at the top of this race. As of Wednesday, West Bloomfield's Samaj Morgan leading the vote with just over 16,000 votes. And right behind him, about 1,000 votes away, is Dexter's Cole Cabana. So now, even if your guy is not putting up, say, the numbers that those two guys are, it's important to vote because, yes, the People's Champion, the online vote winner, will get an automatic berth into the Final Four. The State Champs Selection Committee, though, and there's many of us, are going to choose the other three. And if the group is torn, and this has happened in years past, about who should advance, we look at what kind of voting support each person has received, and it matters.
It's a process, and one of the things we do every year, in case you're new to this, is we literally tape us in the room having some of the conversations and whittling that down to 4. But the People's Choice, you're in. I mean, that's just the way it is. So you have an opportunity to go out there and vote for your guy.
Yeah, and you have a 20% advantage to win the whole thing. So a lot of perks there if you're the People's Champion. Keep voting at statechampsnetwork.com. Click on the Hungry Howie's banner. Do it today. Do it as often as you like.
We're going to head out to the volleyball court for a really good Division III matchup. Check this out.
Puama Westphalia and Plymouth Christian. And this is a good one coming out of Division III. The Pirates, though, won this one in 2 sets. Senior outside Danny Pohl continued to lead her squad. Puama Westphalia won the tournament. And head coach John Thielen says this was a huge win for his team, especially at this point in the season.
We needed a good measuring stick to see how we fit in the rest of the division. We made a quarterfinal last year with basically the same team, and we got high aspirations again. We've been number 3 in the state for quite a few weeks now, and this was good to kind of solidify where we've been and knowing that we are one of the top teams in the state.
September we didn't have a lot of tournaments, so we had a lot of conference games and stuff, so it's good to come out and get some new competition. And I was really proud of how everyone played today. It was a long day, but we finished at the end, and I thought it was great to show the level of competition.
And we had another very good matchup, and that's between Northville and Novi. They went head-to-head. Novi took the first set 26-24, so a close one to get this one going. Sarah Vellucci showed why she's one of our Volleyball Player of the Year candidates in the top 10. But Northville put it into gear and swept the next 3 sets, going on to win this match in convincing fashion, 25-19, then 25-11, then 25-22. Northville's Abby Reck is a Miss Volleyball finalist and also on our top 10 for Volleyball Player of the Year, and she showed her talent in this one.
It was really exciting. All 4 sets were just super close. I mean, except for the third, we took it pretty easily, but it's because we started serving more aggressively, and the first set was insane. Both teams played amazing.
And our final match to close this one out, Rockford at Hudsonville, and this was an exciting one. Hudsonville coming out in an exciting finish.
I'm super proud of my teammate, the way we battled through the sets. It was a good game. They're always a good competition. It's always a big rival, and it's just super fun to play them always. I think just trust and playing together as one. That was one of our themes. And I think we just did a really good job on bringing it in the middle and keeping each other calm and not getting too chaotic.
I think the key tonight was just playing together as a team. Rockford's a great squad, but we battled tonight and were able to string together some plays even when the balls didn't always bounce our way. We learned a lot. We're really strong, and we have a deep bench, and we're able to play together even when we get in ruts and can come out ahead.
We're going to take a quick break and check out this week's Game Changers, brought to you by DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine.
Hi, I'm Laura Ramus with DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine with today's Game Changers Pop Quiz. True or false? Are athletes at more risk for injury in cold weather? The answer is true. During short duration exercise, there's a positive relationship between performance and muscle temperature. Muscle function is impaired with cold temperature and improved by hot temperature. A recent study looking at NFL players showed they had 2 times higher risk of concussion and 1.5 times higher risk of ankle injuries when the temperature was 50 degrees Fahrenheit or colder compared to games played at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This does not mean you should not compete or train when it's cold. Make sure you're wearing layers of clothing to keep you warm and continue to hydrate the same as you do when you're competing or training in warm temperatures.
Do you have a sports injury, or are you just looking to take your game to the next level? Then go where the pros go. DMC Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine. For immediate care, call 313-910-9328 or visit dmc.org/gamechangers.
And the action does not stop there. Let's hit the links and check out some golf regionals.
I'm Kevin Czerzinski, and we go to Whispering Willows Golf Course in Livonia for this Girls Golf Division I Regional. 11 schools competing for the crown, Farmington looking to repeat last year's win. Let's check out Cass Tech's Sydney Evans on hole number 4, her chip shot. A beautiful one as it rolls and drops into the cup. Evans would post the second best score for Cass, Sienna Hawkins, a freshman. Cass's top player shooting a 97. Still on hole 4, Jillian Isles from Royal Oak hits a nice shot off the tee, which sets up this nice putt just a tick outside the fringe. The long roll is headed straight for the cup, and it slowly drops in. Isles headed to Battle Creek for the individual crown. She qualifies with a 93 on the day. Jumping over to hole 3, Farmington's Venetia Chapp setting up her shot just a few yards away from the green, and her approach is on point. She would drain the easy putt, and this girl is on a roll, pun intended. Next hole, she does the same thing again, hitting the green with a close approach. Chapp dominating the competition. First place for her with the low score of 72. Farmington as a team finished 3rd and is set for the trip to Battle Creek.
I think my overall game was actually not very good, but I ended up playing all right.
Back on hole 4, this is Grace Brees from Livonia Stevenson. She shot well on this day. She drains the putt off the fringe, and Brees recorded the best score for Stevenson with an 85. And as a team, Livonia Stevenson finished 2nd and is headed to Battle Creek for the ship. And the top ladies team of the day hail from Woodhaven. On your screen, Addie Rushlow. Setting up the short putt, Rushlow with the second best score for Woodhaven with a 95. And the top score for the Warriors was Abigail Sacco. Here she is on hole 4. She would 2-putt this hole, and her score of 85 was able to put Woodhaven on top of the team standings. Warriors win the regional crown, and they have their crosshairs set for Battle Creek next week.
I know, we never have done that before. We're going to states! Yes!
It honestly feels so amazing. Just to be able to have that position to help lead my team in a way that brought us to victory today. So I'm just feel on top of the world. So our number 2 girl, Addie Rushlow, she has worked her butt off this off season, and she has really caught up to a lot of my scores, and I know she's going to do great things. Our third place girl, Gabby, has really worked hard this season as well, and she's improved a lot from last season. And Ella and Gabby Stanley are constantly working hard, so I think we are going to grow in so many amazing ways for next season. Just going through hole by hole, just really telling myself that no matter what happens, you still got to keep pushing on and to never give up, because anything can happen in golf, and we actually saw that on the very last hole we got in first place. So anything can happen, and I just had to really click with that today.
Yeah, so proud. They worked really hard for this. Every day in practice, they would stay late and put in extra reps, and they prepared for this and put in the work. Well, our number one is a junior, actually, and we have some younger players that played today as well. And a senior played. She did very well. So we had a pretty good balance from younger players and older players. They all contributed and put us in this position. This is awesome. This is the first time Woodhaven has ever put a team through the states. So a lot of people are pretty excited for us back at home, and we're just really excited about this moment.
I'm Chris Gorski, back on the west side, taking a look at the tennis regionals from Forest Hills Eastern. Starting at one singles, Surije Ramakrishnan for the Hawks, taking on Sam Epler from Ionia, the only participant in the final matches not from Forest Hills Eastern or East Grand Rapids. This one would take all 3 sets, but Ramakrishnan gets the winner with the big forehand into the far corner, and the Hawks take one singles. 2 singles would begin the battle between FHE and East Grand Rapids. Here, Bryce Ballion gets the backhand winner as the junior takes the match in straight sets. Over at 4 singles, Jace Konwinski works his way up court and finishes this one off with an overhand smash as he also takes his match in straight sets. On to the double scene, we start with the number 1 flight. Ethan Rappaport gets the overhand smash winner as him and Carter Barnes go on to take the match for the Pioneers. Good one here at 2 dubs. They needed all 3 sets in this one. Will Overbeek gets the winner as him and Drew Dolensky pull out a huge win for the Hawks, and Forest Hills Eastern just edges out East Grand Rapids by 1 point to take home the regional championship.
I'm Jonathan Kidd. The second Downriver League Cross Country Jamboree of the 2022 season was held at the Willow Metro Park in New Boston. And we start with the fellas. Early on, Michael McCooch from Wyandotte Roosevelt and John Anderson from Gibraltar Carlson were running side by side for the top spot. But the reigning Downriver League champion McCooch would separate himself from Anderson and cruises in with a time of 16 minutes and 34 seconds to claim his second Downriver League Jamboree on the season.
It was a tough race. I had some great competition. I love watching the running community push me, but the win felt great.
Allen Park Jr. Caleb Wynn finishes in second with a time of 17 minutes and 41 seconds. 4 other Jaguars placed in the top 10 as they will go on to win a second straight Downriver League Jamboree. Now let's go to the ladies. Wyandotte Roosevelt was fired up for this one. The Bears took the first Jamboree just a few weeks back. They're led by senior Samantha Cost. She was going for her second Downriver League Jamboree win on the year, and she will go on to victory once again, just going under 19 minutes by 0.2 of a second with a time of 18:59.8.
It feels pretty nice, senior year. So far, we're on to a great start, ready to kind of wrap up my last year of high school running.
Woodhaven Jr. Peyton Scheffler will come in second place. 3 other Lady Warriors finish in the top 15 as Woodhaven takes the second Downriver League Jamboree.
1, 2, 3, family! I'm Chris Gorski on the west side, bringing you an OK Gold Conference Tournament quarterfinal matchup between Thornapple Kellogg and Forest Hills Eastern. First half scoreless. Jackson Curtis plays the ball upfield. Austin Shivas gets ahead on it and sets himself up with an open net as the Trojans take a 1-0 lead. Second half, Hawks free kick. Clune Van Andel takes the shot. He goes upper corner for the goal, and the Forest Hills Eastern senior ties this game up at 1 apiece. Later in the half, FHE corner kick. Vince Savino puts it into the box. It bounces around, and Noah McGraw puts it away in the back of the net, giving the Hawks a 2-1 lead. Down the stretch in this one, Austin Tucker plays it upfield to Bryce Vandenberg, and the sophomore adds a late goal as Forest Hills Eastern goes on to win this one 3-1.
The Hawks advance to the OK Gold Conference semifinals on Wednesday.
Number 1 ranked Hartsford taking on the reigning Division IV state champions Potter's House Monday night. Late in the first half, Hartford up by 1. Freshman Cameron Coonley, all by himself on the far side, finds the lower right corner to give them a 2-0 lead. Less than 10 seconds to go before halftime, Jacob Caballero strikes, bounces off a Husky player, and goes into the net. Now we've got a 1-score game. Early in the second, some chaos in front of the box. Samueli Swede gets the ball, strikes with his right foot. Now it's a tie game at 2 apiece. Late in the second, Pumas pressing hard from the corner. It's Quincy Winkle with the header. That would be the game-winning goal. Potter's House wins this one 3-2 against the number 1 team in Division IV, and they were obviously pretty fired up after the game.
We had been getting a lot of long throws down here on the sideline like the whole time, and then we just kind of knew eventually one of them was going to break. They weren't winning every header, so we kind of knew there was a window of opportunity there. And then we put it over the top, and we actually took the short corner, which we normally don't do. He chipped it over the top, and then I was right there with another of my teammates, but I called him off, and I just headed as hard as I could. I didn't really aim that much.
On third Friday, took a loss 0-1 to Zion Christian. You know that's been on my mind all weekend, right? And my number 1 focus today was just to win and beat the number 1 team in D4.
The first half, we thought we wasn't going to get it, but the coach told us in the second half we got to fight to the end. So we got what we deserve.
I just think there's a belief right now that we have to have, like with our group, there's like a concentration that I just think it's like getting newer guys used to, but it's also like making adjustments to really good players. And so I just think it was a matter of just taking time and finding the right mix. But I think there was a belief the whole time that even though, we've been down at different times during the season going, we're going to work out a plan to figure it out.
We'll be back in 60 seconds after this MHSAA Minute.
We are excited to announce another year of the MHSA Scholar Athlete Award, presented by Farm Bureau Insurance. This is the 34th year of the award, and so far, Farm Bureau Insurance has awarded almost $1 million to Michigan student athletes. Applications are now being accepted online at MHSAA.com. 32 winners will be selected, with each receiving a $2,000 scholarship. Seniors with an unrounded 3.5 or better grade point average who have earned at least 1 varsity letter in an MHSA-sponsored sport are eligible to apply. The application deadline is Friday, December 2nd, and everything you'll need to apply can be found online. Winners will be announced in February and honored during the boys basketball finals at the Breslin Student Event Center in East Lansing in March. Good luck to all of those who apply.
Time now to take a look inside Lawrence Technological University. Ever dreamed of learning how to design automobiles or other modes of transportation? Lawrence Technological University is the place to pursue your passion. Lawrence Tech has created a unique transportation design program that allows you to blend your creative design talent along with comprehensive understanding of automotive technology. This unique program offers many unique benefits. 100% of students enrolled in the transportation design program win internships in the industry. Students participate in company-sponsored projects all 4 years. All students are given a personal workspace in dedicated design studios led by industry designers and leaders. And top student designs are displayed at the North American International Auto Show, one of the biggest shows in the world. If you're interested in transportation and industrial design and you want to learn more about the degree programs offered at LTU, do yourself a huge favor and go to the website right now, ltu.edu. Find out how you can steer yourself onto the highway of your incredible future.
All right, guys, time to get into an Anvil Award conversation presented by our great friends at Hungry Howie's. Of course, it's Pink Box Month, supporting breast cancer. Buy a pizza, support the cause. Lauren planned again here. the coach, Tim Beckler, longtime Canton head coach, Hall of Famer in the MHSFCA, and coach. For the first time in a few weeks, we're not going to have a change in our Anvil top 10. And this week we want to talk about Birmingham Brother Rice senior Eric's Doherty. Now the Warriors have been really up, knocking off the #1 team in the state in De La Salle a few weeks back. Lost a close battle to Detroit Catholic Central 2 weeks ago, and I know they're not happy with their last weekend failing against Orchard Lake St. Mary's, but that is the Catholic League Central Division. You had a lot of experience playing against teams in that. But if you would have told me that both Brother Rice and Orchard Lake St. Mary's would be 2-4 heading into week 7, I would have said no way.
Yeah, that's a great league.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be 4-5 and still be a great football team coming out of that league. It's a phenomenal league.
And teams that have gone all the way to the state championship and won them with just 4 wins heading into the playoffs. But Eric's Doherty is, again, a guy who is in only his 2nd year as a starter, yet we have him in this competition because he's that good.
Yeah, and he's a big fella. He's 6'5", 285, committed to Boston College. Great student, 3.9 GPA. What I like about him is his explosiveness off the football. He's got a great takeoff, and he gets to the ball. What I really like about his pass rush, and as a one technique or a nose guard, you really aren't kind of the quarterback sacker.
Right.
It's just difficult because you're facing a lot of double teams. But his get off really beats people. And he matches hands, and what I mean by that is when the quarterback's getting ready to throw, he's really good at getting his hands to match his hand. He gets a lot of batted balls, and he's very disruptive with quarterbacks.
Well, there you go. And again, we've got 3 Catholic League Central guys in our Anvil Award competition right now. Braden Corser going in last week, so obviously it proves great football being played in that division week in, week out. You can never take Friday night or Saturday afternoon off, that's for sure. Now, every week we have a question that we do with the coach, and basically what we want to do is take advantage of his expertise and give him an opportunity to opine on whatever his subject may be. And so this week, again, always trying to come up with something, but again, I think we're all, or at least many of us, are suffering Lions fans every Sunday, and we talk about ups and downs, boy. But based on what they've done, what they did last game, and also based on what they basically have done all season on the defensive side of the ball at the high school level. For whatever reason, let's say your defensive scheme, it just isn't working. But you've worked all off season, you've worked all camp, all season up to this point. We're 6 games already into the season, but it's just not working. Have you ever been in a situation where you simply have to make wholesale scheme changes, even though you know it's very difficult to do at this point? And if so, how do you communicate it in a way that the players can grasp quickly?
Yeah, I'm against making wholesale changes. I really am. I know there might be sometimes you get some injuries and all of a sudden you go, hey, we've got more linebackers than we do linebackers. Maybe we go to a 3-4 or a 4-2-5 and throw another DB in there. I mean, sometimes that can happen, but I really don't like to do that. Instead, here's what I noticed all these years, and I still notice it watching all levels of football, is coaches fall in love with their X and O's a little bit too much, especially on the defensive side of the ball, whereas sometimes if you just line up in your base defense and be simple and smart and aggressive, you play better. Sometimes stunning and doing too much can hurt you. And sometimes you ask a kid to do something that he just can't do. I mean, you might have a corner that's great at cover 3, but terrible at press coverage. Why would you run press coverage? And vice versa, Maybe you have a middle linebacker, you're asking to cover a running back out of the backfield, and he just can't do it. Stop asking them to do something that they just can't do. And then the other thing, they got to simplify. I always like to have you're gonna do this rule 100% of the time. Unless you see this, then you do that. And you want your defense to play fast and confident. Simplify. Don't ask kids to do something they just can't do. Don't fall in love with your X and O so much. And give them that rule. You're going to do this 100% of the time unless you see this, and then you do that. You're going to be shocked at how much better they play.
How do we fix the Lions?
Simplify. Don't stunt so much. Sometimes you're going to make mental mistakes, coverage mistakes if you're asking guys to do too much, and even those guys, they're great, and everybody loves the Lions right now, and I'm a big fan, but man, you got to get off the field.
No doubt about it. All right, Coach, thank you so much. Hey, guys, remember, it's important that you vote in this competition. You go to statechampsnetwork.com on the homepage, click on the Anvil banner. You'll see the full list of top 10 candidates. It also has our criteria there, so there's some good information. And again, once you vote, you can vote every 3 minutes for your guy. There's no email that needs to be inputted anymore, any of that. You'll see the results of how things are going. Right now, leading the vote as of Wednesday, it's when we record this segment, Dearborn Divine Child O-lineman Dylan Senda, 4,777 votes. His community is coming out for him. Now, if that continues, he'll have an automatic berth into the Final Four when we shut down the vote following. It's right around regionals time of the season. So once again, get out there, vote for your guy. It's important, and we'll see you next week.
Well, that's all we have this week for the State Champs High School Sports Show.
Can't believe we are already in the second week of October, rolling into that second week. And as it's getting a little chilly outside, as we know on Friday nights on the football field, it's heating up on the field. The competition in every sport is heating up, and we're going to continue to see that as the weeks go on.
Yeah, you can say that again. Guys, make sure you stay tuned next week for the High School Sports Show.
State Champs High School Sports Show is powered by Lawrence Technological University. Visit l2athletics.com and recruit yourself. State Champs is also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud sponsor of the MHSAA, and the Detroit Medical Center Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine Pros. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.